Peace and great blessings, everyone. Happy Wednesday. It's the middle of the week. Hope everyone is surrounded by love, light, forgiveness, and peace, and supreme balance. All right, we're getting started on time this evening. We didn't have any tech. Well, I'm not even going to say it. Everything's working in divine order. And tonight's show is dedicated to our February mandate on self-love. If you have been watching the Healing Cipher, everyone, you know that February is self-love month. And that is what we're going to be talking about and exploring for the entire month of February. So you can go to pluggedinradio.com and watch our old episodes of the show. Scroll down to the Healing Cipher, and you will see all the wonderful things that we talked about this month in our exploration of self-love. And to beloved Hadia, hi, sweetheart, beloved. Namaste. I hope all is well with you. So I'd like to hear from you all. But before we begin, I got my sage and I am clearing my space because it's been some kind of week this week. And we are going to be releasing all that no longer serves us. And we are clearing and making this space sacred and making it divine for tonight's show. Because all is well and all is going to be well and go right today. So let's begin. Let's begin, everyone. We're going to start with any questions that we have pertaining to divine love. Any questions? None in the chat this evening. So we're going to begin by talking about the journey of self-love. What does self-love look like? What is it? All our lives we hear people talk about love, and just the sound of it in different languages has such a beautiful sound, beautiful resonance. And love is an energy. It's the energy that is generated and it flows from our heart chakra, which is our sacred heart. And this is the center where that connects us to the divine. And all love is generated from divine love. So the love that we have for ourselves is just an expression of the love that the Creator put in us. So not only is it love that we share with others, we share with ourselves, and we share with the divine, it's all the same energy. It's all the same energy. So that's what is really meant when people say you love or you want for your brother and sister what you want for yourself, because you know that you all are reflections of one another, and how you feel about yourself is going to be reflected in how you love others. It's going to be hard to love other people if you don't love yourself, and vice versa. It's hard to accept love from other people, even when their intentions are pure, if you don't love yourself. So always focus on the self-love. And it's not easy to cultivate self-love because we live in a world that is so focused and consumed with the outer environment and beyond ourselves. And many of us spend lifetimes sometimes searching for this thing called love in all the wrong places and all the wrong people. And we didn't know that it first begins with ourselves. This is not something that is taught to a lot of us. The journey of self-love has been an uphill journey for myself. Sometimes it's been uphill in all kinds of inclement weather. And there was some challenging times, and it's been but I see the beauty in the journey, because I see how much I had to work on myself. So we all have to go on this journey called self-love. If you were fortunate that you were raised by enlightened individuals who cultivated that in you, that is a great blessing, and you should be really thankful. But many of us have had to search and find and discover the self-love. All right. King Ade is having trouble getting in. So bear with me, family. We're going to allow him to join our discussion. This is a very lively discussion, and I really want his perspective on it, and also just to hear from the divine masculine, which I think is really important. And I always like to get his input on things. He's a very enlightened, very a very wise soul, and so let me try to troubleshoot. All right, hopefully that will work. And once again, we are discussing the journey of self love. And many of us have not been taught this because we just, it's not something that is common sense and common knowledge to a lot of people. And we've been talking about cultivating that self love all month and starting a new paradigm shift or shifting your consciousness into focusing on self love. But what does self love look like, and how do you develop it? How do you cultivate it? Self care is not the same thing as self love, because care doesn't necessarily have to have an emotional commitment attached to it. For example, you can care for um, a plant, or you can care for items, but you don't necessarily love them. And it's not the same thing. So self care is what we do to maintain ourselves. The self love is what we do to develop our spiritual growth and development, our mental growth, to keep our well-being and maintain our well-being, and keeping ourselves in just elevated state. I call it activating, helping to activate your avatar state. All of that is part of self-love, and you can do self-care as well as cultivate self-love, and the two should go hand in hand, because how you care for yourself will be an expression of how you are developing and cultivating that love within. Um, One of the most important things when it comes to cultivating and developing self love is remembering the presence of the divine within you. Remember that. Remember that you are like a drop of water in the ocean, and that ocean is the divine. And always remember, even in times of difficulty and when things seem their heaviest and their darkest, that spark of light, that your your core self or your higher self is always there with you, and you can always tap into that aspect of yourself to help you solve any difficult challenges you face. We all face them, and it's a part of life. And even when things seem impossible and you don't see a way out, you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, or whatever the circumstances may be, always remember that there is the essence of the divine within you, and that yes, you do have the power to make right any difficulties, make right the wrongs. You can command this, whatever it is that you need in your life, that you have that power. And many of us have never activated that power within us. And so start developing, tapping into your own power, tapping into your higher self, tapping into your divine self. And that aspect of you will help you through the difficult times and the difficult challenges you face. Um, that voice within, which is our higher self, I think, that gives us that supreme guidance, that voice that we all hear, but many of us don't listen to. It tells us, it's that discerning voice, or that voice that tells us, don't trust that person, or don't do that, don't go there, you shouldn't do that. We all are aware of this, but oftentimes we overlook it, and we ignore it. And to practice self-love, you start to follow and listen to that voice within. You start to use your power of discernment. You start to acknowledge and accept that you have a divine mind, and that you can make these decisions that are for your highest good. All right. So always remember that. That will help give you some of the tools that you need to navigate your way and to find yourself, find your path on your journey to self-love. Getting to know yourself, that's another example of self-love. Many of us have never remained quiet enough to, and still enough to just really listen to that small voice within, and really to get to know ourselves, what our sentiments are, how we feel, which triggers us. A lot of people tell me that meditation is hard for them. I teach meditation, and meditation is hard for them because they say that they can't quiet their mind. Their mind has so many thoughts, or so many random racing thoughts. Well, sometimes you need to pay attention and listen to those thoughts. And what are those thoughts? What is it? What is it saying to you? Take a moment to breathe deeply, and then connect and actually examine each of those thoughts. And sometimes it's something that is a message for you, or it's something that's trying to alert you to bring your attention to. So it's okay to acknowledge those thoughts at times, and be focused on what is the meaning, what is the purpose of them. Are they affirming? Are they trying to alert you to something? Are they, asking you to focus your attention on something important? Is it something that you need to address? So focus on getting to know yourself. That's just one way. What are some of your likes? What are your goals? What are your intentions? Um, Focus on cultivating your talents within yourself. That's another thing that you can do to cultivate self-love. Many people who struggle with low self-esteem oftentimes tell me that they don't have, there's nothing they like about themselves. Well, cultivate something that you can enjoy about yourself. And here is the king. Let's welcome him in.
Peace and love, peace and
Peace and
love.
love, peace and
High
love.
vibrations,
Welcome.
family. High
Yes, thank you.
vibrations.
Welcome. Welcome. We were just discussing self-love. I'm
Ah,
glad you were
shit.
able to join us.
I am glad I'm able to attend as well.
Yes, I'm burning the sage this evening, commanding all that no longer serves us, is not in accordance with divine will, to be cleared right now. It's been one of them kind of days, and there you are. There you
Ah, shit.
are. Ashe. Good. Welcome. So we have been talking about the journey of self-love. So I was discussing a few strategies that we can use to cultivate self-love in our lives. We talked about developing self-care, getting to know yourself,
Absolutely.
um, and what it is that, and tapping into your talents or your God-given abilities. That is another way that you can develop self-love in you. So that was the last thing we talked about. But that's a great way to develop and cultivate self-love, is focusing on your talents, your gifts, because everybody has something that is their own special gift or their talent that they can develop, and watch it grow and blossom, just like you water a plant or you water a seed. What is it that you really enjoy doing or you like doing that brings out your creative qualities? It may be painting, singing, dancing, rapping, spoken word, jewelry making, all kinds of things. You got to explore what it is that resonates you, that makes you feel happy, makes you feel fulfilled, and focus on that
Say,
more. Do more of that, cultivate and invite more of that kind of joy into your life.
I say, I shall be right back.
Take your time. All right. So, those are just some of the things that will bring us closer and closer on our journey towards self love. Invite your inner light within to work miracles and magic in your life. So, how do we do that? You by getting to know yourself and cultivating your own inner magic. What is it that you do? Everybody has a special talent. Everybody has something that they're great at. And if you don't, start developing something that you can do well, and practice makes perfect, and the more that you develop that within you, it'll give you a sense of fulfillment, a sense of pride, a sense of accomplishment. It's no greater joy than to think of something that you want to do and then to work towards achieving it and achieving it, and it just brings you a sense of fulfillment, a sense of joy, a sense of gratitude for in yourself that you did that. Let's say if you want to remodel your kitchen by your on your own. You've been watching those shows on HGTV, and you're like, I want to do it. This is the year I'm going to do it. So once you go and set up a plan, make a blueprint for how you're going to remodel your kitchen, go and get the supplies, start putting it together, and little by little, watch it progress from the old kitchen to the new one in steps. As you watch that unfold, it will give you the greatest sense of accomplishment. It will boost your self-esteem. It gives you a sense of pride, a sense of ownership, and just to know that this whole idea started as a seed thought in your mind. You had the idea, a determined idea to remodel the kitchen, or whatever your project is. It could be to get a new car, it could be to lose weight, to gain weight, to get in shape, to get a degree, to start a business, whatever it is that you have set a goal for. We all don't have the same goals, because each of us are different and each of us are unique, special individuals. So find out what that is that you can work towards achieving, and to see it come to fruition after it started as a thought in your mind. That is a great sense of accomplishment. And not only does that boost your self-esteem, beloveds, not only does that give you a sense of joy and fulfillment, it just does so much for your self-love, because you loved yourself enough to have the self-discipline to practice on whatever this goal was every day. If your goal is to quit smoking, and you know that this is hard for you, but you put forth the effort every day to fight the urge to smoke a cigarette, that's a big accomplishment. That is something that you really need to pat yourself on the back for, because some people lack the willpower to take the first step towards quitting smoking. Some people say, "Oh, I know I have no business with this cigarette," and they just smoke. I hear that all the time. I shouldn't be smoking. I know it's not good for me, and they just steadily doing it. Where's the willpower? Love yourself enough to want better for yourself. Love yourself enough to only want high quality of life. Love yourself enough to only want to nourish your body with healthy food. Love yourself enough to want to surround yourself with people who affirm you and who lift you up and who have nothing but positive, loving things to say to you. Surround yourself in an environment that is conducive for your growth and your development and for your own self-love, and just focus on those things that will boost your love for yourself in tremendous ways. So think of something that you want to do, something that may seem far fetched or out of your reach. Set a goal, write it down. Writing is spelling because you're writing it down and you're bringing it into physical manifestation once you write it. Write down what it is that you want to do and then start little steps towards achieving that goal. Once you've achieved that goal, you will feel so much better and so grateful to yourself that you had the willpower and you had the self esteem and you had the perseverance to do that. That speaks volumes. And so, this is another way that we can develop self love. Another way to develop self love is watch your mouth. And what do you say about yourself? You can't have self love if you're saying negative things about yourself, if you're cursing yourself by speaking negative. That is creating a curse. If you are constantly saying negative things about yourself, saying negative things to yourself, you are cursing yourself. You are it's like you're literally putting a curse on yourself. Focus on saying high vibrating things to yourself. Focus on thinking high vibrating thoughts. Focus on uplifting thoughts, uplifting mind speak or the mind chatter. When those negative thoughts pop into your head, you need to banish them. I don't care how you do it. You can sage them away, you can pray them away, whatever. If you are surrounded by people who are negative and they're always speaking negative, you got to shift the environment and find another group of people to be around, or enjoy some time by yourself. They say misery loves company. You don't need anything negative weighing you down. That is not your destiny to be weighed down by negativity. Focus on speaking life to yourself, speaking positive to yourself, uplifting yourself. Say your affirmations every day. Start them with I am. Speak positive. When you have a setback or something happens that's a challenge, redirect your thinking and don't say, oh, I'm so, and then something negative behind it. Always, always speak loving to yourself in your mind. When you think to yourself, some people talk to themselves and that's okay too. But when you're thinking in your mind to yourself, that negative chatter that nobody else hears but you, make sure it's positive, make sure it's loving, make sure it's affirming, and it's uplifting. Speak to retrain your mind to speak to yourself in a positive way every day. Even if you make something that feels like it's a mistake, still don't beat yourself up. Never beat yourself up, because you have to be your own best friend. You have to be your own cheerleader, your own support person, your own PR person. It starts with you first. And so you have to speak lovingly, affirmingly, positively to yourself. Motivate yourself. Tell yourself, I can do it. I can do it. I know I can. Or all the other things. If you struggle with getting up on time in the morning, tell yourself, self, you can do it. I know you can. I believe in you. Surround yourself with affirmations and positive speech. If you have to write down positive affirmations on posters and stick them on your wall so that you can look at them every day, then do that. That's what they make posters for. So it's a reminder to people. Put them up. Make a poster saying positive things or I am phrases or affirmations. Put it
Ashe.
somewhere so you can see it as soon as you get up in the morning. That's the first thing you need to see. If you need them, if you need those motivations in your car, put them up in your car. I went to an office one time in Baltimore, and this lady, I forgot what office it was. It was something dealing with businesses. And when I went in, they had people in cubicles. This one lady's cubicle, King Ade, she had post-its all over her cubicle. and they were all saying positive things, affirmations, um,
Day.
notes to self. I mean, it was almost like, do you know those books that have like, 365 days of,
And they have affirmations and things for each day. Yeah.
yeah. It's like she had them all over her cubicle. And I was sitting there reading them while I was waiting. And I was like, wow, this is
That's
something.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it is amazing. But if that's what you need to stay positive and that's what you need to think positive thoughts, then do that. Do that.
Ashe. Yeah,
Write
if you
notes on.
surround yourself with the positivity, the thoughts, the wisdom, the quotes, the correct thinking, if you surround yourself with that, then it will impact your life.
It
So
will.
absolutely, I agree. You gotta put it all around you. That's why, like, we got our little reminders around. Focus on chakras. Build that
Yeah.
up every day. Your altar is a good reminder. Reminds you to connect with spirit in different ways.
hmm
No, nah, shit.
Right. Ashe.
Got to always be able to for the moments that you are not in your best thought process, you have to have things around you to put you back in your peace and in your
hmm
place of power, in your best frame of mind. So you put reminders, symbols, words,
I like that
thoughts,
place
and
of power.
vibrations all around you,
hmm
plants that are high in vibration,
hmm
crystals,
Crystals. Yep.
anything that will bring you back into the memory of being in your rational, sane thought, your best frame of mind, and at personal peace and
hmm
divinely connected. Things that bring you back to the knowing that you are a part of the divine and you have a purpose here and your life is purposeful. Anything that reminds you of these things is good to have around you in different places. Put all around your house so that you will always be reminded of who you are, you know, the love you have for yourself, the respect you have for yourself, and what you need to be doing. What's your purpose?
Absolutely. Yes. Speaking of that purpose, you want to talk more about, you speak on that and how following your life purpose is an expression of your self love or a way to cultivate your self love.
Absolutely. So your your purpose is so the purpose that you've been put on this earth for.
hmm
It's so unimaginably great. It's so phenomenal. It's like I couldn't describe it. It's indescribably great. It's a story that has yet to be told. Like we've all been
Yes.
placed on this earth for unimaginable things. Like our imagination would spend forever trying to contemplate the greatness of why God fit to ordain us to be put on this earth and breathing and alive and in our presence and power. I could never tell you why God placed you on this earth, but I could tell you that the reason is great.
hmm
And the reason you were placed on this earth is a reason that is meant to touch and affect everybody else on this whole planet. On the whole planet.
Yes. That's amazing.
So, the only way for you to fully align with your purpose and understand your purpose, you got to understand that who gave you the purpose? Who told you? Who
Mm.
sent you on the mission? God sent you on the mission. What is the mission? What is the greater goal of the mission? To bring people back to God. You're going to
That's
touch
true.
and affect everybody on this planet, and God's going to use you to bring people back to the greatness of God
I like that. Yep.
because you are a part of God and you are a part of God's plan. So, God has planned for your purpose to affect the whole world. And all you have to do is let God use you to uplift, first of all, yourself and
hmm
your life, your family that surrounds you, and your community at large than the rest of the world. There's literally only 6 degrees of separation between every person on the world. So just impacting yourself, your family, then your community, You can literally
Mhm.
change the way the whole world looks, thinks, and feels.
Ashe. Yes. I like that because you can. We do have that power within us because as you strive to love yourself and work on your self love, it shows other people that journey, what it looks like.
Ashe.
So you're impacting others. Very good. Very good.
So your purpose is like you will be happy to live in your purpose because your purpose
Hmm.
is going to make everything around you work towards your greatest good so you can fulfill that purpose. When
Hmm.
you're working with God, when you're working for God, when God is your employer, you feel me? When God's your employer
Yeah, I feel like you're
and
talking to me directly, like hint, hint.
hint, hint, wink, wink, blink,
Wink,
blink,
wink.
all that good stuff. When God is your employer, God will provide for God will provide for his employee. It will provide the finances, the living space, the island, the mountain, the facility, the people, the customer. God will send the customers through the door. God will give you everything you need to make this plan work because God is the greatest of planners. God will send you
Ashe.
somewhere and everything you need to be there when you get there. You over here
Ashe.
worrying, you was worrying the whole trip. What am I gonna do when I get there? I don't got none of my stuff. And God already got everything you could have thought of needed and more right there perfectly planned for you at the next spot. So I say we go with God. You feel me? Cause it's like I done gone against God. Can you believe it? I done tried to go against the will of God for my life. And 5 to 10 years later, here I am still doing God's work. Still
Praise be
doing
to the
God's
Lord.
work.
Tell us
Monday.
about that. Tell us about that because I think we've all struggled with. I call it, I guess, being lost. On
Lost
the
in the
dark
sauce.
side.
Lost in
We've
the sauce. Called
lost in
out,
the stars. On the
smelling
dark. So
yourself.
we've all
I don't
had a
know. I don't
taste
know
of the
what to
dark
call it.
side, the shadow realms,
Yes,
and it's
we've
not
all
a
done
happy
played
place.
shadow games. So I would say for me, I was caught up in this material world. I knew I wanted to be wealthy. I knew I felt wealthy was
Hmm.
part of my destination in this life. And
But you
I didn't
are
care how
well,
I got there. I did
huh?
not care how I got there. I was going to do whatever I needed to do to get my way to wealthy. Um, because that's what the world was showing me that that's what you gotta do. That's when you really a man. That's when you really made it. When you can obtain wealth and success.
Hmm.
So I was like, at a very young age, the school system taught me that all Rockefellers and all these people were railroad barons that took all this money that they pretty much got from robbery and pillaging, and they created all these legal systems and took over the whole entire community and set up the schools, appointed the government officials, and just, made their own world after, doing all this scandalous stuff just to get to where they wanted to be. And then
Hmm.
they just went legit, and now they is the founding fathers of our society.
Yep, especially the financial aspect.
I
So
say,
it's like they set the criteria for how to be successful in
uh huh.
business.
Absolutely. So I
Hmm.
said, I guess that means, if that's how our founding fathers did it, it impacted me like get it by any means and just, turn it legit when you ready. And that was the mindset I carried along with. And all this time, like as a child, my parents and pastors was telling me that like I was prophesied to be a pastor or some type of spiritual leader.
Hmm.
And I was like, what y'all talking about? I'm playing for the other side right now. I don't know what you're talking about. I can't
Hmm.
help you here. You feel me? I didn't have that relationship with God that everybody was telling me that I was going
Hmm.
to have. Everybody was
Hmm.
telling me I'm prophesied to be a pastor, a preacher. I'm like, I'm running the streets right now, full speed, trying not to crash. You feel me? that was me running away from my purpose for what God said I was going to be. And I had feelings like I had seen passes and all. I was like, that's not what I'm going to do in life. That's not. They don't be swagged out. You feel me? They do be having the Bentleys though, but they don't be swagged out. And
Right.
so I was looking at what I saw a spiritual leader or a pastor in front of me. I was looking at
Mm-hmm.
that and seeing it like that's not what I'm going to be in life.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, twist! I'm too funny to be a pastor. They don't be funny. They don't be this. They don't be that. All these things that I didn't see in the pastors I was seeing and the spiritual leaders I was seeing, and I was like, that's not what I'm going to be. But God funny that way. Like, yeah, all this street thug stuff you think you doing, all this ninja stuff, all this self defense. I'm gonna take all of that, take all this you doing, and find a way to use it to the glory of God and the good of the collective. And I teach all these things.
Mm-hmm.
And I teach people how to be closer to God. And I use all these things to bring people closer to God. Body movement, um, running up the mountains, all these different things. Just all these different things I then got from my tutoring, being a GED tutor while incarcerated.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm teaching people all types of things.
Yep.
All these different things led to be to the glory of God at the end of the day. And only God saw that in hindsight. Only God could say that child was going to be a spiritual leader, pastor, this and that. And the child not knowing that 10, 15 years down the later, he would have all these different change of hearts and all these different influences and impacts that would perfectly mold the child into what God needed the child to be at a
Mm-hmm.
predestined time.
I feel you.
So God is the best knower of things. That's why sometimes we just gotta let go. We be holding on to things so hard, and we like, man, that's not even what was meant for us. We holding on to this, and because we won't let go of this, our hands are closed to what God has for us. And what God has for us is usually greater. I was chasing after they bag, you feel me, trying to do what they did and be what they did. But God said your purpose is greater. You can create your own wealth out your own hands.
Right.
He says you can make a whole new world paradigm. Your clothes the way you want it, your shoes the way you want, your buildings the way you want it, your cars the way you want it. You can make everything the way you want it and call that your new paradise.
Ashe.
You don't need to chase after their bag. You don't need to steal, rob, and pillage. You don't have to be them to get where they got. You can have
Mm-hmm.
better than what they have by
Mm-hmm.
just being yourself and pursuing and building up God's work and building up God's world, because there's a lot of building that needs to take place. There's a lot of abundance that needs to be restored to the people.
Oh yes, definitely.
We have to give the people back their inheritance.
Mm-hmm.
So because we have to restore the inheritance of people, we're going to see and touch a whole lot of wealth, land, all these things, because we're going to be busy doing the work of God and putting those resources back into the right place and showing people what to do with the resources. How to turn
That's
the
right.
plants into food, how to turn the
Yes.
plants into
Transformation.
medicine, how to turn the
Yes.
plants into housing.
Mm-hmm.
We're transforming lives, transforming spirits, and showing them how to live at peace and at one with the world without
Mm-hmm.
needing all these things that people feel that you need to succeed in this society and economy that's been created. A lot of people don't
Mm.
need all that. Some people
Mm-hmm.
just need clean air to breathe, clean water to drink, food to put in their bellies, family that love them, love their family, and the knowledge of how to connect and communicate with God in their life and how to follow God's purpose wherever God ordains them to go.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I just feel like God is saying we got to get back to the basics, like
Mm-hmm.
back to the Garden of Eden. You feel me? I don't know if y'all ever
Yes.
read that book Back to Eden, but that's a very powerful book
Mm-hmm.
where it talks about going back to the Garden of Eden, not the Forest of Eden, not the Jungle of Eden, not not the what's it the Slaughterhouse of Eden,
Mm-hmm.
not the bakery of Eden, the garden.
The
Say, go back
garden.
to the plants.
Yes.
Go back to the plants. You feel me? Go back
Nature
to
being
being at
going
one with the animals in the environment around you.
absolutely the nature. That connection to nature is how we another way that we can connect to the divine, and because that's a
God is
creation.
nature.
Yes,
The
God is.
nature, the nether is the God.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got to connect back to our nature just like we got to connect back to the
Yes.
nature of this world. Just like we got to connect back to the nature of God. All of this is nether, this is energy. And we have to be in connection and communication so we're at one with this energy. We too busy doing what we want to do and ignoring all the signs that the energy in the universe are giving us and going against nature. Can
Mm-hmm.
you win a fight if you are going against nature? You're going against the planet, you're going against
No.
God, you're going against the people, you're going against yourself.
Exactly. Exactly.
You fighting against yourself. You could never win.
Yes, I like how you said to go back to the Garden of Eden. I think I think the time that we're in now is time for us to recreate um Eden, or that
We
sense
gotta
of Eden, or
recreate the.
recreate paradise here on earth.
That's
It's,
what I
it's
was gonna
time for
say.
that.
Recreate paradise. Recreate the definition of paradise. Like
Hmm.
people don't know what paradise means because people haven't seen and made a paradise, and everyone's definition of paradise is different.
That's true. That is so true.
So we got to recreate the definition of paradise and going back to the basics. What does everyone want and need? What would be paradise for everyone? Some place where my kids can learn and play in peace. Somewhere where I have the clean water to drink, where I have good food to eat, where I don't have to want for anything, where I have shelter to protect me from the elements that be, and I'm connected to God and
Hmm.
doing what is my talent and my purpose in this life to my
Yes.
happiness, fulfillment, and enjoyment, and I am content. These
Hmm.
are things that everyone wants. So paradise is a place where everybody fits in, where
Absolutely.
everyone can be at peace in their place in life and can manifest what they want in peace
Hmm.
without having to come to confrontation or misery with anyone around them.
Hmm.
So this is what we're searching for. This is what we're
Hmm.
asking God to provide, and God hears us. It's just a lot of people don't know what that looks like to them. Some people feel like that'd be a strip club, paradise. Some
Yep.
people feel like
They give some of them names like
some people feel like that'd be the all you can eat buffet, paradise.
yep.
Some people say put them in the football arena, paradise.
Hmm.
You know, so it's like you gotta figure out how to, for one, make everyone want the right thing because a lot of people don't even know the right things to want. Some people, you tell them to want food and they say they want McDonald's. I said want
Yes.
food. Is that food?
And
They
to
say
some
yeah, it's a
people, yeah,
burger.
some people that's their
Burger's food.
paradise.
I said, what's the definition of food? Something you eat that puts nutrients into your body. Is that putting nutrients into your body?
Mm.
And if it is, how much? We got to talk to people scientifically now because so many people feel they're right. They just but they don't understand what they're saying or what the definition of the words that are coming out of their mouth even mean. So if
Mm.
you said McDonald's is food and the definition of food is something that puts nutrients into your body, how much nutrients is McDonald's putting into your body? Because you're going to get burgers, right?
Hmm.
So the way a food chain works is the bottom of the food chain is the primary producer, the plants. They get 100% raw energy from the sun, and
Hmm.
through the process of photosynthesis, they make that energy there by creating sugars because they're autotrophs and they feed themselves. So the plants get 100% of the energy. Every level you go up the food chain, only 10% of energy is transferred. So if an animal eats that plant, it gets 10% of the energy that it collected from the sun.
Mm.
So from eating the plants, you get 10% energy. But that's good because we have some highly alkaline and electric plants that have an
Oh, yes.
abundance of energy. So even taking 10% is it's electrifying. That's
Hmm.
why where we got them master medicines and things like that that could tap you right into the divine, could send that jaw of electricity through you. High
Um,
vibrational energy.
Absolutely.
So the animal, it eats it, gets 10%. You eat the animal, you only get 10% of the 10% that the animal got. That means you got 1% of pure potential energy.
Yep.
You only got 1%. So they went to McDonald's and they got 1% of energy, of nutrients that they say they want. How much nutrients does it take for your body to break down the burger? The red meat will stay in your body for over a month. Take about
Mm.
at least a month to flush that red meat out of your system. So that's a whole month's worth of energy that your body is wasting trying to get that one piece of meat that only gave you 1% of energy out of 100. How do we think this is a good nutrient trade off? How do we think this is a good course of how to energize our bodies?
I think they're not consciously thinking of that because a lot of people eat for taste. They eat what tastes good. Or
I
they're
understand it.
emotional eaters. They eat what I listen to people talk to me all the time, especially people who say I'm an emotional eater,
Yeah.
and they eat, but they never feel satisfied. And then, every time something bothers them, they got to eat either
They got to
something
run the food.
sweet
Yeah.
or something sugary or um, something
Savory.
creamy or whatever.
Yeah,
And those are things
savory.
that they're doing to satisfy some emotional needs, but it's not satisfying them because every time, because you keep doing it over and again, it becomes habitual. So
Yeah.
it's something that is not being fulfilled. It's something that's not being nurtured and nourished within you. And you're using foods to try to do that, and it's not working.
So I won't even say it would be as big of a problem if they were actually using foods to do that. The problem is they're picking things that by definition are not really foods.
Okay.
If you felt emotionally distressed and went and ate a sea moss smoothie, nobody would say nothing. Nobody would have nothing to say to you. You felt emotionally distressed and went and ate a sea moss smoothie and drank you a Damiana tea. You would be perfectly fine.
One Love says so true. You right about that. But usually when people are in their feelings and they want something to eat to satisfy that feeling, they crave sugars. And I learned that the reason why they're craving sugars is because they are looking for love, they're looking for sweetness. They crave
Listen.
creamy foods because
Yeah.
gives them a feeling of nurturing or something to that effect. It gives you that feeling. Or they say, I need comfort foods. They want foods that make them feel a certain type of way. But like you said, when you feeling in your feelings, you feeling some type of way, you're not feeling, your best, have something nourishing, like you said, a sea moss food, have a green drink with some spirulina, have something. And I guarantee once you start doing that, after a while, you're not going to want something to eat to make you feel better because you're going to
You're going to find yourself feeling better. And the
right.
food that you're eating is going to make you feel better. It's going to heal you. So the thing
Mhm.
is, I agree with what you said. I agree. I'm not going to argue at all. But the thing that people don't understand is God is the greatest provider of things. If we got sea moss, you can make creamy things with sea moss. I make sea moss in the popsicles, ice creams. We got all types of things we can do that. Now, sugars, keep some dates on you. If you got a date on you and you craving something sweet and you pop a date in your mouth, won't your sweet tooth be satisfied?
True indeed. Yes.
So it's not a problem that they're one of these things. They talk about this in Ayurvedic. They want different things. Like just tell what you're craving will tell you what's going on with your spirit. You get the vadas and
Exactly.
the doshas and things like that. There's so
Hmm.
many ways. These are what the type of taste you're craving. It tell you what's going on in your body, why your body's craving
Oh
something, because
yeah,
your body might be craving the salt or sweet because it's feeling a deficiency in something that salt and sweet will counteract. So you just have
absolutely.
to
Yeah.
look at what, for one, Dr. Deepak Chopra,
Hmm.
Restful Sleep. It talks all about the vata and doshas and the different
Yes.
things, the different tastes, and what they're addressing in the
Hmm.
body. If you want to actually know how to tie what the craving is to what the body part or what the system is that's trying to get fed and how to feed it in your body. But just getting better snacks, if you
Hmm.
got a if you got a closet full of chips, you're gonna eat chips. If you got a closet full of fruits, you're gonna eat fruits. You feel
Hmm.
me? Is
Yes.
prepare yourself to do the best. Cause nobody, I don't care how much you craving it. If you start craving something sweet at 12 o'clock when all the stores are closed, and you don't have candy or chocolate, but you have a sweet pear that's right inside your drawer, what's your sweet tooth going to crave?
Hmm.
It's going to crave the sweet pear, or it's
Right.
going to crave the date that you have around you, or it's
Hmm.
going to crave whatever that you put in your surrounding. If it's not something that is good for you, don't put in your surrounding. You wouldn't have chocolate to
That's
eat in
right.
the house if you didn't bring the chocolate into the house.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
You
And
feel me? You
people, like you were saying, the salty, if they're craving salt, there's usually a mineral deficiency. But I do know people who crave sugary foods, and if sugar is their go-to when they're feeling distressed, that is a lack of love, and you're looking for some sweetness, some love. The creamy foods that people crave when they're upset, like ice cream or other foods that are creamy, you're looking for soothing and comfort. If
I
you are
feel
craving um what they call comfort foods like french fries or something heavier or starchier, that's another sense of not feeling fulfilled, not feeling supported, and you're looking for it in some kind of food item that makes you feel and a lot of times people, certain foods are associated with events in our lives. For example, when we were little, most of us had what they call what birthday parties, right, where they gave you cake and ice cream, and you associated cake and ice cream with happy times, happy moments. So you'll crave those things when you're feeling sad, when you're feeling lonely, when you're feeling upset or distressed, because you associated cake and ice cream with happy times, and when you are feeling surrounded by love and everybody going happy birthday and surprising you with stuff. And so is that's where that comes in.
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna
Yes.
tell you. I'm tired of nice people thinking that they're doing something nice for a child by trying to offer them candy. I
Hmm.
might get in trouble for hurting somebody for offering my child candy.
People criticize me because I didn't give my children candy. I gave only candy I allowed them to have. Like sometimes the health food store would have these fruit juice sweet. I don't even know they still make them. These fruit juice sweetened lollipops. I would give them to them, but I didn't raise them on candy. And I would go to the banks, and people would be the tellers would be like, "I got a piece of candy," and I'll say, "No, thank you," and they would look at me like I was crazy because I said,
Yeah.
"Oh, no, thank you,"
When
And they'll
they're
say, and
crazy for
some
trying
people
to
will
feed,
correct me. They will say, "Oh, it's not for you; it's for the children." No, thank you. And
yeah,
it was like,
nah.
like they just want to just I gotta slide this crack to them. It's not for you.
You feel me? I'm trying to
Do they do
get
that to
them
you when
hooked
you out
while
with
they're
your youth?
young.
Huh?
You said what?
Do they do that to you when you out with your youth?
Oh yeah, they still try to do that. Try to buy them something that ain't no good for them. Pretty much try to buy my child poison. I don't believe in poisoning my children. I
Mm-mm.
don't believe in poisoning myself. And sometimes
Exactly.
is listen, I wrote a whole book on how poison this system and stuff is. I done read Dr. Laila Africa's Nutricide, and I still find myself craving this craziness sometimes. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I ain't perfect, but I be that if you gonna give it to my children.
Yeah.
You feel me? Because that's why I'm still craving it because somebody got me hooked when I was a kid. Like, you feel me? If you slide a kid dope by the time he 20, like he hooked on dope for life. He with the whole dope movement. That's his best friend. They try and slide on this sugar and try and make this sugar. They're always trying to associate with something
Mm-hmm.
good, some type of celebration.
Mm-hmm.
Eat cake, celebration, eat candy,
It's
celebration,
always
ice cream time. You
it's
feel me? They
always sugar at celebrations though. Birthday
yes.
parties, weddings, um, what else? Um,
Every time we celebrate,
Anniversaries or special occasions, there's always a cake. Even them bachelor parties and the baby shower.
then
You
we
know,
don't
it's
want to talk
always
about the
cake.
public
Why can't it be
holidays.
a fruit tart? Why can't it be something else? Why is it always cake?
Then we don't even want to get into these public holidays where they actually, man, go on a full rampage promoting candies as the best thing to provide for anyone during set days during the year. Whether it's Valentine's Day and you're supposed to be giving a person you love chocolate,
Which
whether
is full
it's
of sugar. It's not even
Halloween,
real chocolate. It's like mostly milk and sugar.
exactly. Whether it's Halloween and we supposed to be feeding all our children death, whether it's Christmas and we supposed to be leaving cookies out for Santa Claus that's not real. So when Santa Claus don't eat it, the kids wake up in the morning and run down and be like, all
What
these
happened to the
cookies in the
cookies?
morning. Merry Christmas.
You know,
With
Santa
some
ate them
milk that
cookies
been
last
out
night.
overnight to wash it down. So
Right.
like we got to actually look at this. We got to start being offended when someone offers our child something that we know to be poison. When someone offered you something to be poisoned, if someone actually walked up to you and said, "Would you like this dope?" you would feel pretty offended, right? Do I look like a
Absolutely.
dope fiend?
Right.
Do I look like a sugar head? Do I look like a meat bag? Like what do I look like? Why would you offer that to me? Was you trying to be my friend? That's not friendly.
Hmm. Hmm.
We actually have to start feeling offended when people ask
Hmm.
us these crazy questions. They'll be like, well, why are you feeling so offended? Why do you feel
Hmm.
that way? I just offered you sugar. Do you know what's in that? Do you know what's in that?
And you know what? And when my children were little, I took them to the dentist, and the dentist was saying, one of the dentists that I took them to said, I could tell you all are vegetarians. And I said, why? And he said that the hygienist said, you all have very little to no cavities. And he said he noticed a pattern. People with predominantly plant-based diets had healthier teeth. And that was what he said, his observation. And I said, oh, really? He said, less cavities. And he said, you can see the difference in the quality of the teeth. So I was like, oh, wow, that's amazing. But it's also probably not only less cavities because remember, plants are alkaline and junk foods are acidic, and you know the acidic environment will cause more tooth decay. So the sugar and the sugary confectionery treats and all that kind of stuff, yeah, they taste great, but in the long run, what is it doing to your teeth? And if it's eating holes in your teeth, imagine what it's doing to your organs in your body. What's happening to your heart? What's happening to your liver? What's happening to your intestines? What's happening to your lungs? God forbid your little kidneys. I mean, maybe that's why it's such a high level of kidney failure in this society. It's like everywhere you drive now, every shopping
You
center got
gotta think
one of those
about what your
dialysis
kidneys
centers.
do.
I didn't used to see them when I was younger.
You gotta think about what the kidneys do. The kidneys
Hmm.
is what filters out all the your kidneys' main job is filtering the bad things out of your blood, cleaning your blood.
Hmm.
If
Yep.
you're putting more toxins than nutrients in your blood, the thing in charge of cleaning your blood, what is it going to end up being?
Yep.
Overtaxed, overrun. Its job is to clean out toxins, but it's being overran with toxins because you're habitually putting new toxins in your body every single day. So it's never resting because it's always having to remove an abundance of toxins because you have learned to feed yourself off an abundance of toxins. Whole bags of Cheetos, all processed. Whole chocolate bars, all this ice cream, all these things, pasta, like everything that you just put in your
Hmm.
body is toxic to your body. And now your
Hmm.
kidneys is trying to work as hard as to detoxify your bloodstream. If it's going and running overtime like this for years, trying to keep your body from being toxic and toxic waste buildup, and you're not cleansing that kidney, it's going to be overran with toxic material to a point that it's going to be putting out bad blood. Is the blood is coming in that was supposed to clean? The blood is just going to, it don't have nothing left that it could clean, nothing it could do for it. So now you got bad blood cycling through your body, and that's kidney disease, kidney failure. You're now the blood is just you got bad blood. So now they have to put you to dialysis to get the bad blood out and get some good blood in. It
Hmm.
all started from the diet. You
Yes.
kept putting the toxins in your body and you never stopped putting the toxins in your body, so your kidney never had a chance to rest.
That's true. Yes. And it will cause, eventually, it will cause kidney failure. But once again, all of this, you may, the listening audience may say, well, we talking about diet now. What does it have to do with the self love mandate? It all goes back to self love because if you love and honor yourself, you'll be more careful of what you put into your body. You'll be careful of what you consume. You'll be careful of what you surround yourself with, right?
Ashe, when I tell you, it goes so far that Dr. Laila Africa said to
Mm.
my face during a lecture, said right to my face, problem with most people in America is we suicidal.
Yes.
He
It's
said,
a
the
very, very sad, toxic environment. It's
yeah,
so many people are suicidal. It's
yes,
um we live in a society where it seems like nearly not everybody, but it seems like the majority of the population has some type of addiction.
yes. So
Coffee, television addiction,
Ashe,
smoking addiction, drug addiction, popping pills, prescription drug addiction, food addiction, sugar addiction. I said coffee, right? Caffeine addiction. You got some people, they
Ashe,
they they get to shaking and they don't have a soda every day. Um, Sex addiction, television, social media addiction, whatever. It's just like everybody is trying. What are we running from? What are you trying to escape? What is it that you just can't cope and you can't face, that you got to have an escape? And this escape is something outside of you all the time. And I meet lots of people, and I've had clients, you probably have had some too, where they had an addiction to, let's say, substance abuse, and they quit or they went to treatment, and now they're substituting it with another. Like I've seen people who they were using cocaine or heroin or crack or whatever, and now they're alcoholics. So they recover from the street drugs, but now you're using something else. Or you have some people, they had one habit, now is a obesity because they eating too much because of some emotional need that's not
Ashe.
being fulfilled, and they're trying to compensate or overcompensate or whatever, and now they're addicted to food. What is it that we're running from? What is it that we just can't cope? And why are we constantly looking for an escape?
All
What's
right,
happening?
so let me tell you. So first of all, we got a whole lot of trauma. So that's the first thing. We got trauma from just the way we brought
Hmm.
into the world in this society. Where our parents aren't even really the ones bringing us into a world anymore. Now they done put somebody in a white coat with a bright
Mm.
light in your face to pinch you as soon as you come out and say, "Welcome to his world, little nigga." So that's the first problem.
Right.
That's the first problem. We start accumulating trauma from the very onset, even coming into loving homes and families. And then out of love, we feed our child infamil and all these things because a lot of
Hmm.
people not breastfeeding anymore. So now they're
Hmm.
raising their child on infamil, on cow
Right.
milk. They're feeding their child like they would feed a cow, a baby cow. But the
Hmm.
child is not a baby cow, clearly. I don't know
Absolutely.
how anybody got that confused, but it's not a baby cow, so it doesn't need baby cow milk. Doesn't need cow milk. It needs either breast milk or it needs
Hmm.
nutrients that can replace that breast milk. But it's going to be hard to find nutrients that can replace breast milk because that's one of the most nutrient dense substances on this world.
Yes, and it's
So
full of hormones too that you can't duplicate in the cow milk.
exactly. Actually, the saliva connecting with the breast while you're breastfeeding sends signals to the mother just to tell the mother what type of milk the mother needs to create for the child and what
Yes.
nutrients need to be in it. So it's a whole science to it. You can't skip that and expect there not to be consequences. But even more, if we try to act like addiction is the problem, the addiction is not the problem. Because if you was addicted to sea moss and working out, nobody would be saying nothing to you, right? You have a
That's
good life.
true.
If you was addicted
Mhm.
to making money, everything be cool, right?
Yep.
If you was addicted to praising God and connecting with spirit, all is well. We're
All is
supposed to have
well.
an addictive nature. The thing is, we live in this society that has taken pleasure in addicting us to the wrong things, addicting
And it
us to
makes money.
sugar,
And it
to
makes
make
money.
exactly. That's why they
Hmm.
addicted us to it, so that we could
Yep.
pay for their luxurious lifestyles.
Yep.
So we could pay for them to be this white privileged society where in this class system that they was running away from England, so they came and created it over in the Americas.
Hmm.
Because
Yes.
in the class system in England, they were at the bottom of the class. So they had to go over somewhere else so they could be at the top of the class.
And create a American dream, which is a nightmare for some of us. But yes,
For
you're
everyone
right.
that is not a part of the Ponzi scheme, which is that dream.
Right.
So we gotta understand this and understand that the people that are oppressing us are not going to feed us right. They're not going to teach us to feed our children right. They're
Mm.
not going to teach us right. What's the first thing every child hears their first? If the first thing your child learns in a day is when they go to school, what's the first thing they hear every single day? Your child, every day, what's the first thing that they have to listen to every single day?
The
I
Pledge of
pledge
Allegiance.
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
Mhm.
Listen, I never learned that. When did I learn that? Why do I still remember that verbatim,
Because we
word for
heard it
word?
every day.
Every day. I never
Day.
said it along with them. I never tried to believe the words. Why do I remember it word for word without even trying? Because it has been embedded into us like a
Hmm.
spell to capture our
Yes.
hearts and souls. It
Yes.
has been perfectly indoctrinated right into our mental psyche. It has been subliminally messaged to us our whole life since we
Mhm.
are of an age to
That's
enter the
right.
school system. That
Every
is the first thing and the last thing we supposed to hear. That's the first and last lesson you need to hear from that school every single day.
every school, every classroom has a flag in it. May
Everyone.
not have some other supplies that you need, but it has a flag.
So this just goes to show that listen, they're going to great lengths to control your mind, your psyche, and what you do because that's what oppressors do. Oppressors want to monitor and make sure that you are with them every step of the way. They want to tie you to them even as they oppress you. They want to make you dependent on them, reliant
Mhm.
on them. They want to make you love them even as you oppress them. They want to be the guy that everyone likes in the party, even just like that dope dealer in the streets. You know, that dope dealer back in the day that he'd come to a party and everybody is showing love. Yeah, whole time he's slinging death to the whole neighborhood. But everybody just love him so much. That's America. They the dope
Mhm.
dealer that everybody love. Sell
They
guns to
don't love them
everybody,
back.
dope to everybody. What you need? I got you. I got you. You feel me? And just getting filthy rich off watching everybody destroy themselves.
Exactly. Destroy themselves.
And just happy as a fool, grinning in the party like everyone
And
loves
giving
me.
you more death, just shoving it to you, watching you OD off the death and just giving you more and more and more long, and you just keep the money going. It's a vicious cycle.
So that being said, now's the time we wake up, right? Because, like, I mean, we just went through that whole story. You know, I spent about 20 minutes setting up that whole scenario that is a real scenario, that is what is going on. But when is it going to change? The answer should be now. Answers should be
Indeed.
now. Now you should be conscious enough to know that they're not feeding you right. Now you should be conscious enough to know that an apple is better than a candy bar for your children any day of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Now we should know better. We got to know because these little ones, they watching. These
Mm-hmm.
little ones, they watching, they listening, they hearing. You feel me? And you the
Mm-hmm.
one with the spoon. They can't feed themselves something bad. If you saw the
Exactly.
child picking up a bottle of glue, what would you do?
You take it from them.
You'll take it from them. So if I see my child pick up a sneeze burger, I smack it out of his hands.
Yeah.
Bow! Get that
Right.
out your hand. What you doing with
And then
that?
those parents that complain that their children only eat junk food, like I've heard people say that.
Who bought it for
Why?
them?
Who
When
bought
they
it?
start working?
Who bought it?
When they
Don't
start
put it in
working?
the house. Every time I buy a box of cookies, they eat them all up. Stop buying it.
You're gonna need all your energy to get them cookies because you're gonna have to work hard for them cookies. You're gonna have to
Mm.
actually go get you a job and work at that job to buy some cookies because I ain't buying it for you.
Right. And
So
families get back in the kitchen and make it cook meals together. Sit down and make some
yeah,
vegan, gluten free, some alkaline cookies together. Make
y'all
something
can
together.
pray,
You'll
sing, praise,
save
and worship
money.
over the food as y'all make it. You know, you could
Yes.
tell them all the good things that's going into the food so they know all the good things that's going to happen inside their body. You can make a whole spiritual thing. Like, what you ingest is one of the most spiritual acts you do during the day. That's why we always pray before we eat. We always say our grace. It's because we're paying
Hmm.
homage to this
Hmm.
sacrifice that we're about to make to our body, our temple, as we engage in one of our body's most what it spends most of its time doing. Our body spends most of its time and most of its energy digesting what we put inside our body. So if that's one of our most important functions as human beings, we should watch what we're putting inside our mouth because it's obviously important. It's
Hmm.
obviously important. That is the system that has literally been what determined the life expectancy of people on this earth. People are
Hmm.
dying so young now because the way they're eating. You consuming junk, you become junk.
Yes.
You're consuming
You
death,
are
you
what you
die.
eat.
You
You
are what you
are
eat.
what you eat.
And if all you're eating is deady, bloody, rotten meat, one day you shall be deady, bloody, rotten meat.
We meat. Life gives unto itself. So you have to put life, living foods. I heard somebody say at this health conference I went to a few years ago, living bodies need living foods.
Ashe.
And that's been my motto since then. Make sure that food is alive. If you leave an onion in the refrigerator long enough, it starts to sprout. If you leave um, some other foods out, it starts to like change and
Absolutely.
develop and to grow because it's alive, and that's what
Like
you want.
sweet
You want,
potatoes. You'll start seeing
yeah.
tendrils
Oh
coming
yeah,
out
they
of it.
start developing little potatoes.
The
Yeah.
yams. The
And you can take, you know
cactuses.
what, Ade, you can take parts of some of your food scraps, the plants, and you can regrow new ones. You can cut some parts of the plant off and regrow it. If you open up an apple or a pear, the first, what do you see? The seeds. You open up your papaya, your avocado,
Let
whatever. You
me
see
tell
all
you,
these
you could
seeds, the
grow a
life-giving seeds.
you could grow a whole lot of things if you try.
What's that? Oh, that's your
This?
greenhouse.
Yes.
Oh, we getting a palace tour, y'all. Look, look, look. Okay, that's your greenhouse. Wow.
Yeah.
What's growing in there? Those greens?
Oh, it's a whole lot of different plants growing. Most of these plants are not plants for eating. Most of these plants are more plants for better breath quality, beauty, and
Oh,
um
medicinal. Those
austere
are
of the house.
medicinal herbs.
Yes, all different types of plants. I got some love bush growing back there, and we do sell plants as well. So some of these
Oh,
plants
great.
are to
And what is
sell.
love bush for? What is that? That's something new.
Love bush is one of the most highly electric plants on this planet. Love
Hmm.
bush is such a beautiful plant. It literally is powerful enough to power your home.
Oh, that plant. Okay,
I told you
interesting.
about it before, but it's actually a
Yes,
plant
I remember
that you
now.
can actually make enough electricity to power a battery fuel pack and power the whole home. So
Mm,
and then of course if it's that electrifying and powerful, it has a whole host of health benefits for you if you eat
mhm.
it. It can be eaten as well. And this plant, they call it the clone plant because you can literally rip a tip off the leaf, leave it out for a day or two. It will start. You'll see tendrils and roots start to come out of that tip of a leaf you ripped out, and you can plant it and create a whole new love bush plant just from the tip of one leaf. So it literally grows
It's a
easy.
regenerative plant. That sounds
Exactly.
amazing. Amazing.
Exactly. It's one of the most
Yes.
potent, powerful plants on this earth. So I'm
Hmm.
growing those,
I'm gonna
and
have to get one from you. Okay.
yeah, I got the aloe plant over here.
Oh,
This
no
is
question.
I got the aloe
Matter of fact, I
plant,
need to water mine. Yeah, I have one down there
and
too.
this is a peace lily.
I like that.
Yeah,
I
so
thought
we
that was
going.
a. Oh yeah, that's a lily. I thought it was an orchid, but that's a
Yeah,
lily.
that's a peace lily. So yeah, a lot of different plants, but just keep that green oxygen inside your house. You're not nature's all around you outside, but if you're going to be living in this, because we're supposed to be natural beings, so we're always supposed to be around nature, you know.
Hmm.
But now we like live in luxury, so we build these wooden structures around us and these metal structures. If we not going to be out in nature, we got to bring nature in there with us. You feel me? You should have some type of plants in
Hmm.
your house to filter out the breathing within your home because
Hmm.
there needs to be new oxygen cells being created. And the only things that are creating oxygen cells are what?
The plants.
The plants. So
Yes.
if you're not going to go outside and breathe in the oxygen, you saying you're going to be inside a stuffy home, you feel me? You're going to be inside this home that you done shielded the outside world from outside. You're going to have to bring nature in if you want some clean oxygenated air. It's the
Hmm.
only way. This is my bamboo buddy.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. So gotta have the
Hmm.
plants all around you, surrounding you. You feel me? It's a part of the
Hmm.
spirituality. Like, and like once you start getting in tune with your nature, you can actually like communicate with plants. Just like the study you was talking about, where
Hmm.
they were playing good music, and they were playing good music, and it literally was able to.
Affect the plant growth.
They were playing good music, and it allowed the plants to grow better and they were sprouting well, and then they were playing bad music to some other plants, and those plants, of course, died. So,
Mm-hmm.
it was like one was getting fed positive energy, one was getting fed
Mm-hmm.
negative energy.
Mm-hmm. And just like those plants, we have to do the same thing for ourselves. We got to be mindful of what type of music or surround what kind of music we're listening to and what types of surroundings that we're in.
Yeah,
Because-
absolutely.
Yes,
Because
yes.
we are a plant. We are a
Hmm.
plant. We evolved from a plant. We didn't evolve from a monkey. We evolved from a plant. So just like the melanin in our skin are
Yes,
receptors that take in sunlight, just
yes.
like we sprout here from the roots of our head, just like we drink water to nourish our body day in and out, just like we breathe in oxygen and exhale carbon, we are a plant. We
Yep.
evolved from a plant, and that's why we interact so well with plants.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we have to treat ourselves like a plant and allow ourselves to grow and blossom beautifully. You know, we have to
Yes.
water
Nourish.
our soils. We have to water our soil and our roots. We have to be in the proper environment to grow. Fertile soil.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, so we coming to a close this evening. Thank you all in the chat room. We thank you, beloved Hadia, and thank you, beloved One Love. We had an exciting discussion this evening on some strategies for cultivating self-love, and we got a little more into depth about the herbs and our diet, but it's all interrelated, Ashe, and it's all interconnected because how we love ourselves and how we nurture ourselves is the end result of how what will be put into our bodies, on our bodies, and around our bodies and our minds. So it all starts with self, how we love ourselves, how we want to honor and nurture ourselves. So thank you all for listening. Next week, join us. Next Wednesday is, I think, March. But we're going to have the Ask the Herbalist Hour on Wednesdays now, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So come with your questions. Also, follow us on Instagram, please, at The Healing Cipher Show and at ogun.fitness and astralhealingarts.com. You can also please like and subscribe this channel. We enjoy working together to bring you good content and to be that light in the darkness to help answer your questions, to help with your wellness journey and your healing journey. We're both wellness coaches and health coaches, and we just enjoy what we do. And if you like to support us more, you can feel free to donate to $ Astro Healing Arts or $ Face the World. We love the support and the feedback from each and every one of you. You want to say any closing thoughts, King Ade?
Absolutely. In this journey for self love, you know, the first place you gotta look always is self. That's where you're gonna find a
Mhm.
lot of things. You're gonna find God within. You're
Yes.
gonna find love for what your purpose is and what you're here to create and be and do. Um, and you're going to find a way to inspire your family and those people that are around you, and you're going to find a way to make a change to your community and the world around you, if only if only you find a way to love yourself. And you love yourself more when you know what you are capable of, and you know how important you are in the whole dynamic of this universe. So knowing yourself and knowing how powerful you are, and knowing how that you can make a change in the whole world around you, and that you are put on this earth for a reason, knowing
Mhm.
that allows you to have a whole nother level of respect for yourself that will lead you to put in the work and get what you need to get done accomplish your dreams. Put the prayer in, you know, because you can't cash out on a prayer you never put in, just like you can't cash out on a check you never deposited. So you gotta pray. You
Ashe.
gotta ask God for what you need. You feel me? If you
Mm-hmm.
ain't ask God for what you need, you ain't give the request to Him. Then you're when you going you how are you going to get it? If you didn't ask the giver of all things to that gives life to all things, if you didn't ask God, the creative energy that gives life to all things for something, how you gonna get it? What you was gonna go get yourself?
Mm-hmm.
So take appreciation for your ability and your power to speak things to existence. You could just
Mm-hmm.
ask for something and it'd be as easy as you asking God be like, here you go. But if you don't
Mm-hmm.
pray for these things, if you don't put in your affirmations and speak these great things that you already are into yourself, I am powerful, I am peaceful, I am love, I am abundant. You don't put these things inside of you, you can't get a return on your investment if you don't invest.
Mm.
So self love
Ashe.
is all about investing in who you are and who
Yes.
you were made and created to be and your connection to the creator of all. That is how you show yourself self love, and that is how you change your life, the life of your family around you, your life of your community as a whole, and the life of the whole world through you
Mm.
and through God working through you.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Ashe. Oh, that's
Ashe. Oh,
wonderful. That's wonderful. Yes. So thank you for that wonderful motivational thought. And we hope you all enjoy Ask the Herbalist Hour tonight. Remember, at the bottom of the screen on the banner, you'll see our social media and websites. And if you would like to donate, you can feel free to do so. And we will see you next week. And don't forget to tune into the show on Monday nights on the Plugged In Radio Network at pluggedin.com. You can watch the Healing Cipher, and we have exciting content every week. And it is just one of the most phenomenal shows out there on the radio network, if I do say so myself, and
absolutely.
I do.
Say it.
So,
Say
huh?
it. Say it twice. But really, like, there's not too
Yes,
many
and
other
we
shows.
tackle a lot of good content and a lot of good topics um that need to be addressed now, especially when it comes to health and wellness and spirituality. There's
Yeah.
no other show quite like it.
I'm gonna be real. There's not a lot of people out here giving out knowledge like this. There's some, but there's a select few, and those are the people that are really out here doing the work for the God consciousness in the universe. That's really going to put real answers out there, not just put
Hmm.
the cool opinions. Actually, put real healing advice. Actually,
Yes.
put out herbs and things that they sell. Like, not try to sell it to you. Like, give you real information that you can go and start putting
Hmm.
into practice that
And it's
very
free of
day,
charge, so
free of
watch it,
charge,
folks.
and getting a return on your investment. Investing the time to watch
Hmm.
and listen to some good information and being able to put it into practice into your life and see
Yep,
it work. None
that's
of the
right.
things we telling y'all is everything is tried and true. Everything civilizations have been doing it for millions of years and it's worked. We've been putting it into practice in our own life and seen it work. We've seen
Yep.
it work through our clients. All of these things are things that are tried and true and that we've seen work. So you're getting an abundance of knowledge, experience, and things like that. And there's not too many people out here giving people that.
Hmm.
So that's why we say like it's of ultimate value. Y'all should tune in because it has knowledge that will help you improve upon your life and bring you closer to your dreams and goals.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
we
So
wish
step
you
into the
guys
cipher with us on Monday. Oh,
Ashe.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say a closing prayer, just wishing the people peace and abundant blessings, love and life, energy, prosperity, happiness, joy.
Hmm.
I pray that you guys know yourself before knowing anything else.
Mm.
Nothing else matters until you know you. No one else matters until you know you. The only one to matter is you until you know you. That's the only thing that matters. Because once you know you can work on everything effectively. Everything else that comes after you and your connection to God, everything else is now a second thought and will be easier once you know who you truly are. You'll better know how to deal with any problems, any obstacles, anybody that got to be healed in the family. You're not going to be able to heal them until you heal yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that needs to be saved in the family, you're not going to be able to save them until you save yourself.
Shay.
Anybody that need love in the family, you're not going to be able to love them until you love yourself.
Shay.
So the faster you learn who you are and to love yourself and be at peace with yourself, the faster you'll be able to heal and help other people. Until you apply all this to yourself, it's not going to work. You trying to tell other people because they just going to see you as someone that says but doesn't do.
Mm.
And nobody likes that. Everybody views that as a hypocrite. If you saying all this good advice but you don't do it yourself, then why? If you don't follow your advice, why should I? Even
Indeed.
children feel that way. Even
Indeed.
children notice when their parents telling them do this, do that, but don't do none of it. Like, oh nah, 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 nah. A trick is being played. Can't pull the wool over my eyes. I want to do what you do. Or I want to be
Mm-hmm.
grown now. So I could do exactly what mommy and daddy do. So mommy and daddy gotta do the right thing too. It's not just for children to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Mommy and daddy gotta do the right things, eat the right foods, respect themselves the same way you want your child to respect themselves.
Exactly.
Respect
Exactly.
you the way you want your child to respect you. That's why we got to give ourselves the love, the guidance, the respect, and the boundaries. Gotta give ourselves all that good stuff. So I wish you guys peace and love and more abundance upon your journey. This is a beautiful journey, and if the sound of my voice is reaching you, you are on the right path. Of course, there's always adjustments that need to be made, but you are on the right path towards going to your greater good and your greater peace and your greater prosperity in this life. So continue abundant journey in travel, safe travels, and reach a destination in your own time. Ashe?
Ashe. And with that, we thank you all again. Love you all. Lots of peace and abundance, joy, happiness, and good health. And we will see you all next week, same time, Wednesday, 9 p.m. And join us for the Healing Cipher on pluggedinradio.com on Mondays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.
Peace.